So the next line we'll be talking about is the draw origins, the shape modifiers, and the set origin areas of Boxcutter. So this refers to how you draw your shape. Currently we're set to corner draw, which means when I click and drag, after selecting my shape of course, when we click and drag, we are drawing from the corner. Alternative to this, we can draw from center, which means when I click and drag, the shape comes out from center. I can hold Alt in order to move it freely, or I can hold Shift in order to draw it from a different corner. However, that's what the draw origins represent. So default box will draw at corner, but if you ever need to draw it from center, you're able to just by toggling this option. Another thing is that with dynamic dots, which is the current default system of Boxcutter, if you begin drawing from an edge dot, you'll begin using a center draw instead of drawing from the corner, which will allow you to draw things out evenly from an edge dot, making this maneuver a lot easier. The next thing I want to talk about is the draw line. So draw line is a modification type of circle, box, and custom. So by basically enabling this, it means that whenever you click and drag, you're creating a line and then you're creating your shape. So custom is one of my favorites to be using this with as well. However, box is what it was actually made for, just to be able to draw a line at any angle and then from there draw out your box. Is a lot different than actually just drawing a box and rotating it and moving it around in order to get it to the position you want. Line box aims to basically add a lot more flexibility to the initial draw operation to make it easier for you to get to where you're going without having to bring in the whole rotation business. So whenever it comes to draw modifications, that one is pretty self-explanatory. So we can just toggle that back off. The third one is one of my favorites. This one determines the orientation of the origin and where it's going to be post operation and also during draw. So generally we have this set to centered, which means that if we draw this shape and we extrude it and we press tab, that means whenever we press scale, we're actually scaling it on the center of the surface of the face that we drew. Alternative to this, we can actually set it to something like the mouse, and this actually will allow us to scale it from the origin where we first drew the shape. If we were to press D again and we change this to bounding box center, we're now scaling it according to a devolume center of the shape that we drew. And then finally, you can actually set it to the active element, and now the orientation of this is set to the object that we drew, meaning that when I scale, we're scaling towards the center of this object, this target object's origin. So these options are important to be able to change on the fly, and for that reason, that is the third slider at the top of the box helper.